The Mayhem Clubhouse show up next with your hosts, Antony B and Mr. Carlos, and co-host on the show tonight, soul and reggae artist Charmaine X. The Mayhem Clubhouse show up next with your hosts, Antony B and Mr. Carlos, and co-host on the show tonight, soul and reggae artist Charmaine X.
Hey, welcome to the Mayhem Clubhouse show with the boys with the noise, Antony B and Mr. Carlos. And we've got a special guest up in the building. It's New Year's 2024. It's a new day and it's Friday. We're going to have a great time, Mr. Carlos, yeah?
Yep, we are going to have a great show today. And coming up on the Mayhem Clubhouse show is co-host, soul artist and reggae author Charmaine X.
Hey, she's here. She's in the building.
Okay.
Also on the show, Mags from Wolf Monologue Podcast and reality stars Keisha Wanda Jackson and Tony Jackson.
Hey, says the Mayhem Clubhouse show with the boys with the noise, Antony B and Mr. Carlos, and a special guest, Charmaine X, never vexed, never upset. She's always smiling. She's kind of happy. She's travelled all the way for what, 2.5 hours? 3 hours just to be on the show. Thank you for coming on the show. Really most appreciated. Looking great. You know, you've done everything. You look fantastic. You've outdone me and Mr. Carlos anyway. But listen, it's very easy.
So what does that mean?
That's not hard to outdo us.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Oh, she's already getting that. Listen,
she's on fire.
we're not even going to go into that. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The Mayhem Clubhouse show up next with your hosts, Antony B and Mr. Carlos, and co-host on the show tonight, soul and reggae artist Charmaine X.
UK to the USA.
Shout out to the whole Mayhem squad, man, all the way from North Carolina.
It's the Friday Mayhem Clubhouse show with Antony B and Mr. Carlos.
The all-new look Mayhem Clubhouse show with Antony B and Mr. Carlos.
Okay, welcome to the Mayhem Clubhouse show. How are you doing, Charmaine X? My God, can I say I've met you once before. This is my second time you've come into the studio. 3 hours. You're our second artist that have travelled so far. The first one was Miss She Did It Again and Deontay. They flew from the States to come here, but you're here 3 hours. Thank you for coming on the show. Finally, you meet us properly in the flesh.
Yes.
So how you doing? You're all good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Had a good Christmas.
Okay. Yeah. It's all New Year now. You
exactly.
ready? You ready for it?
I am. I think I am.
Okay. What were you doing over Christmas with the family? What was the situation?
Just stayed at home, had the family all around me.
Okay.
It was beautiful to see the children open up all their gifts, their happy faces. And all I was interested in really was eating plenty food, having a good drink,
Okay.
and relaxing.
Yeah.
Just the rest.
So you saw beautiful people, just like me and Carlos. Beautiful. Okay.
Okay.
Didn't even elaborate on it in any. It's just okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's happening? Just very quickly, just to give people. I don't know what's happened. I think I've eaten a dictionary. It's possibly because you work in a school. Could you give us a brief synopsis? I don't know where that came from. Of what happened about yourself, really.
Oh, I'm just trying to think of what you really want me to say. So,
30 seconds.
Okay. Right. So, in terms of of career-wise, I'm an assistant principal.
Okay.
But outside of that, I love to write songs. Go in the studio,
Okay.
record music. I've got quite a few tracks out there.
Yeah.
I haven't recorded any new songs in a good while.
Okay.
And that's really because work has kind of taken over. And, sometimes you just lose that mojo a little bit.
Okay.
So, you kind of need the headspace for creativity. But what I will say is I've written a new song.
Oh.
I
yeah.
gave you a little slight preview.
You did.
to that song.
You did.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to recording that.
Yeah.
putting
Are you
that
going to just give us a little bit of a rendition today sometime?
On that song, possibly not.
Love that.
Just because-
Bit of freestyle though.
Just because it's new.
Yeah. And you want it out there
yeah,
properly. Yeah.
yeah.
Makes sense. Makes
But
sense.
also, I'm working on a venture. I've written a book.
Yay!
It's called Just Us Plus One.
Oh,
It is,
you were telling me about that
yeah.
particular. You've become an author now, which is very, very good. I'm so excited for you. So you've expanded your repertoire.
I
haven't eaten a dick.
Look at this vocab. I like it.
Yeah. It's not just singing and reggae and soul now you're an author as well. I was talking to you off air, and that's going into the schools. Yeah.
Ideally, I mean, the plan is really so that I can push it into all different schools.
Okay.
And hopefully start promoting just things around identity, young people, relationships, friendships, and just having, I guess, for the adults, have a better understanding around what young people go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Carlos.
Yeah, no, that's really sounds positive. It just sounds like you're a woman of many talents. I mean, I'm just trying to work out where you find the time to do all of this.
Yes. Good
You know,
question.
it's a lot of work. I mean, just being a teacher, a principal, vice principal, there's a lot of work involved. Running the school, running the business, well as your own family, well as writing songs, doing a book. Woman, when do you get arrested?
Listen, do you know what? If I stop to think about it, then I'll be like, I don't know how I do it. But I actually just keep going. I just keep going. Yeah.
That's really good.
But
Really.
you got to watch out for burnout as well. We need time to rest.
I did say this to
definitely.
you. I've said that to you many times.
You must rest as well as as hard as you work. You must rest as hard, because the reality is you can suffer burnout, and we have a habit of burning ourselves out, doing too much. It's when do you stop? It's when you break.
No, not at all. And you're right. You're definitely right. Which is probably why I said, in terms of my muse and to be able to create, I've kind of had to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you can only do so much.
All right, so welcome to the show. Thank you. You're looking great as per usual. Even though you've travelled down for 3 hours, it just seems like the way you're dressed, the way you look, looks like you've travelled like for 2 minutes.
Look at that. Okay, thank you.
I'm here all night, man. I'm here all night.
I think he's seeking a friend, isn't it? Really is seeking a friend, isn't it? Jeez.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is the Mayhem Clubhouse Show Freestyle Friday. And we want you to just put some bars, some of your style onto this particular song so people can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
I mean, this is all head top, but let's go.
Let's go.
Let's see. Can I get some volume?
Okay.
It's time for Friday Night Freestyle with soul and reggae artist Charmaine X.
Charmaine up in the building. Here we go. Love the bass line on this. Love it.
I'm just here right now, thinking what I'm gonna do, 'cause I'm up with Carlos and Antony. It's the Friday Mayhem Show. That's where it is. Oh,
Yeah. We've got a lovely
man.
Fantastic Charmaine X up in the building. She's lyrics that hit the ceiling because she sings with meaning. And you know, when she sings, me and Carlos have that feeling of love because it's like you're a blessed from above. And you know that you like your reggae and you love your rubber dub. Hey, listen. I'm here all night. That was fire. Okay, we want to talk about our first topic. So welcome to the show. I want your participation in this. And we're talking about if we were single, we're all taken, as it were. Okay. Yes. If we were single, late 40s, mid 40s, in your 50s, how would you go by getting a partner? How would you go by getting a partner? How do you think that would work?
I have totally no idea. No, literally, I have no idea.
I don't either.
In terms of work, like it would have to be someone probably at work that I'm talking to or that I'm interested in. I'm not going out to clubs.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily feel like meeting someone in a club is the best, environment to meet someone, really, to think of a lifelong partner. I mean, maybe the supermarket you'll have a better chance. Like, literally. I know a lot of people meet on social media. Someone I knew the other day said they met their partner on TikTok.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Carlos, before we go any further, let's see what this actress had to say. Let's see what she had to say.
So yeah, man, I'm gonna need for y'all to be a little bit more understanding. Because most problems start with men. In women, when it comes to women, most problems start with men. You got the menstrual cycle and you got the menopause. So I'm gonna need for men to just pause for a minute and understand what it's like to be a woman after a certain age, once she reaches menopause. That's it.
So my husband's about to walk through the door and I'm going to play that song. That's my type, like everybody else does. And see if my husband dances. Let's see what he does. Oh, I forgot I don't have a husband.
All right. Well, you heard what she had to say. Carlos, what's your opinion on it?
Well, I just think there's many different ways to meet people. I don't think there's an actual right way. I mean, as Charmaine says, you could be in a supermarket. It could be in a club. It could be at work. I mean, it depends on what you do for a living, what your circle is. I mean, if you go to the gym, you could meet someone at the gym. It could be, a friend that's always found you attractive but never had the guts to come forward. And all of a sudden they've made a move because they know that you're single. I don't really, and I mean, if you go to the younger generation, yes, they use Instagram, they use text messaging, they use TikTok. They do it in a way that we don't do it. I find that their way is kind of unloving. It's a message.
Yeah, you know the reason why I asked that question is because I was speaking to a friend of mine, and she's a great girl. She's Italian, very good looking woman, kind of mid 40s, but she can't get a partner. She can't get a man. And I was giving her suggestions like possibly go to, I don't know, I'll be married forever, go to salsa classes, I don't know, go to the library. And I was like, they're rubbish. And then she turned it on its head and she said, if you were single in your area now, what would you do? And I went quiet and I said, that's actually a very good question because I don't know what I would do. I wouldn't really want to date somebody if I go to a club and meet somebody. Maybe they're nice, maybe they've got a good job, good career, but genuinely for me, I struggled. I'm not going to lie. Don't like in America, they've got this dating app. Do you know how much it is per month?
No.
$500 a month.
What?
To go. but it's high class people. If you want a lawyer, you want a doctor, you want somebody, a scientist of that kind of level, you got to pay that money. And obviously the kind of people that they're trying to approach is those type of people who have money, who are prepared to pay $500 a month.
Wow.
But for me, that's far too much. But I
think.
I
Sorry,
don't
but I don't
know.
want to
I
cut
don't
you.
know.
I don't want to
I
cut
don't
you,
know.
but I just think when you start talking along those lines, it's already a financial relationship, and for me, I have to deal with a realness. So I have to connect with that person. So I personally like to talk to the person to find out if there's something there. I'm not interested in what you do for a living, any of that. I just want to know, do we actually get on? Is there a link? Is there a spiritual connection?
Yeah.
Because
I
if
suppose
that's not there,
important.
then I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But I suppose the question is, irrespective of them paying $500 a month or not, I mean, that's kind of almost irrelevant. I think the fact of the matter is, they're looking for a partner, and they're looking to have the relationship, the conversation, to meet the person. I think the problem here is very, very difficult for a lot of people when you get older to find a partner. You saw the actress; she's a single woman, and she's 56. She looks great for her age, but she's struggling to find somebody. And I think
Look,
that's what it is.
Let me put you another way. If you want a job, you can't sit in your house and wait for it, can you? It's not going to come. You got to start applying. You got to put yourself out there. If you sit in your house and think that love's going to knock your door, you got a long wait. You've got to put yourself out there.
Well, this is the reason why they're doing it.
But
Sorry,
can I
go
just
on.
say, I don't think that's.
Yeah.
It's not really about love, is it? It's like it's a business transaction.
Of
You know,
course.
when you start talking about being able to swipe to the left and looking
Swipe to
for
the
right.
particular character, particular attributes,
And that's what I was jump on. That's a money thing.
Yeah, there's
and
no
and that's
there's no
why I don't
interaction.
agree with that £500. He has to be a lawyer. He has to be a doctor. I believe talk to people, find out if there's something there, if there's a bond, if you're like-minded.
Don't know. Do you know the reason why I say I don't know? I agree to a certain extent, but it depends on the level of person that, in terms of what they're looking for. If they're looking for love, then yeah, you can go and pay and go on your little dating app and don't pay any money and swipe to the left and swipe to the right. But if you're paying $500, they want a caliber of person. They're not looking for a road sweeper.
That's not love.
They're not looking for love.
Yeah, but
you're looking for a business partnership.
But
That's
you're getting
not
that.
the same.
I think you two are getting it mixed up. I think I genuinely do. And when you
This ain't
if
Pretty Woman.
you're talking about love at first sight, then I understand. But generally, even if they swipe and pay the $500, eventually they could meet that person and fall in love. You don't fall in love straight away.
Nobody's saying that, but what I'm saying is actually you've got it's a bit of it's a business, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there isn't that interaction. There isn't that actually. I feel like you've got a good energy.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
person is on a good vibe, and now I'm interested a little bit more, and we can go. And
You know,
hang
What
out.
you're saying is,
So go on.
show me your CV first.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, this is what
that's what that app is
I'm
saying.
putting the
Show
case
me
across. Yeah.
your
I
CV
have to.
first, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
For me personally, and I've been married for many years, that's not how I started out.
Yeah.
I just met a lady walking down the road, and one thing became another, and it worked. So I'm not saying that. And if I was in the market tomorrow, I would approach someone in the same way I did, because I believe in the energy. You talk to somebody, body language, communication is all part of it.
Again, to a certain extent. You know what they were saying as well? These just surveys that I've been reading. So the younger, when you're in your 18, your teens, your early 20s and everything, you're more likely to approach people. One, purely because they potentially don't have any kids. You know what you're looking for. The older you get, it becomes this three-pronged approach. This is what they were saying. And they were saying, number one, and this is in your late 30s, 40s, early 50s, and 60s as well. Number one, you got to look half decent. That's what they look for. Number two, you got to be able to conversate. You be able to have a bit of a conflab in terms of what we're having now. And number 3, this is not in order, by the way. And number 3, you've got to have a bit of a personality. If you've got those 3 criterias, then you're in a good place. The problem is, the older you get, you start looking at, this is the reason why I'm only kind of putting their case across with the $500. When you start looking at people of the older persuasion, my age as well, because I'm in my 30s, and the I'm sorry. So what happens?
Did we get to put the 6 in front of the 3?
60. But the problem is, the older you get, that kind of tick list becomes less and less and less. You know they're going to have kids. You know they potentially will have kids. You know they're going to come with baggage. So it comes a lot more difficult. So what you're saying, Carl, I understand you do exactly the same thing that you did many, many years ago when you were in your 20s. But I think the older you get, you will change the way you operate when you're talking to somebody, because you've got to ask the right questions to get the right answers. You don't know what they're up to and what they're actually doing and what they've been doing in the past.
But listen, the reality is, if you're in the market in your 40s, more than likely that the person's going to come with some form of baggage, i.e. they've got a child already, they've been in a previous relationship,
prison.
It could be a number of things, but you're going to be. I don't know. They could have gone to prison and the relationship ended because of it, and now they're back out there. For me, I mean, myself will have baggage because, of where I'm coming from. So I just think personally, you would take those things into account when you're talking to the person anyway. And if you're not ready to take on board being a stepfather, then maybe dating is not for you.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of these old men, they're dating girls that are half their age just to get away from that. Whereas to me, that even doing that, how can you relate to someone that's 30 years younger than you?
I think that's a different topic.
Yeah, that's a totally different topic. Yeah. But I mean, it's good debate. We all got serious in 2024. It's a bit deep. So, just summarize, Zin. If you were single, I'd start off with. Let's start off with the young lady, because you're in your 20s, aren't you?
I wish. I wish. There is no fakery going on here. Okay?
You look great. You look great.
So.
I mean, if you were single, what would you do just finally, or you'd just be alone? There's a lot of women who just said, I'm done with it. I'm going to be on my own.
Look, I like to be in a relationship. I find it comforting in terms of having someone that's there that I can talk to, understands me, that we can grow together.
Sure.
So I love all of that.
Okay.
But I would probably do exactly the same in terms of it has to be a friendship first.
Okay.
So it would either be within my friend circle and you kind of realise, I didn't realise, we were interested in each other kind of thing after how many years.
Okay.
Or via work colleagues, or via my friends and their circle. But I don't think I would go out there looking for somebody new, knowing nothing about them, and messaging them on some social media, because it could be anybody. And so in this day and age, not for me.
No. So if you couldn't meet somebody and have a relationship, and let's say you don't get on with anybody at work, because there's another survey, and it's quite correct. They say the best relationships is when you know somebody and you've built a bit of a bond, whether it's at work, whether it's, I don't know, in a bar or something where you meet up. So a friend, it's the best. But if you didn't have any of those opportunities, what would you do?
I keep myself to myself. That's it. That's it.
You're beginning to sound like all the other women.
Go to
I'll
bed,
just be
read
alone.
a book.
I'll be alone, innit?
That's it.
Yeah, I'll just be an author. Keep writing.
That's it.
Carlos?
I don't know. I'd probably go back to old school and I might meet someone on the road. I might meet them at work. You go on body language. You go on the vibes they give off. You go on whether you and them connect. Whether there's good energy. I've got to do the real thing. This talking on dating websites and reading someone's profile has never interested me. I'd rather meet the person, talk to them in the flesh. You know, initial attraction, if it's there, then you talk about the second stage. If the person shows you that they're interested, now we can go one stage further. Maybe go out, have something to eat, have a chat, see if there's something there. You know, ask questions, you know, that you want to know their past, what they're about, what their interests are. I just think old school is the best way.
Old school is the new school.
Yeah,
love that. Love that.
School.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, thank you for your input. And by the way, Charmaine, you're an author now. Thank you for coming on the show.
Kind of.
Do you?
Kind of.
Well, myself and Mr. Carlos in this month, January, we're going to be in Black Celeb magazine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how we profile, man. That's how we get on. We're big, man.
For what reason?
Hence the term celebrity. Black magazine. Celebrities, plural.
So I'm going to ask what for again? Like, what for?
Not for dating, anyway.
Not for dating. Yeah. That's good. That's funny. Okay. Would you if I had to ask you to kind of you've known us for years now, write a book about me and Carlos, about our journey to where we was. You remember when you've been with us from the beginning, from LN Soul Radio right up to the Mayhem Clubhouse show. So thanks for that. How would you be able to put something together for us? I don't know.
Yeah, we're talking about what? One page? What are we talking about? Is that what we're talking about?
Anyway, do you know what? Thank you for coming on the show, man. It was really most appreciated. Yeah. Later.
No, definitely. Of course I would.
Stop the lying, man. It's too late. Many a true word said in jest.
She struggled, mate. Struggles to even make a page. By the time she's written the first paragraph, I'm done.
She's like, oh, let me go AI. I could get something. Okay. All right, we want to move on and we want to talk about when do you think it's time? When do you think it's time to stop having kids? There's, I need to bring it up, but there's a story with a woman from Uganda, and she's 70 years old. And she's just had twins. Yeah, she's had a boy and a girl. We've also got, I'm just going to bring this up, Robert De Niro. He had a child at 73 years. God, I'm doing this off the top of my head. I'm impressed. At 73 years old. And then you have Al Pacino, 83 years old. He's had a child as well. When do you think it's time to stop having kids? Over to you. I'm going to start off with Carlos. Carlos is jumping at the bit on this one.
I've heard your last two comments, and I think a DNA test is definitely required in both cases.
Don't let me choke on the water, man.
Definitely required in both cases. I'm not convinced. Yeah, I'm not convinced, my brother. You know, but look.
No, they. I think the woman. Do you know the oldest one? 83 years old.
Yeah.
83 from India.
A woman.
A woman.
And did she give birth naturally?
Naturally, yeah.
Naturally,
yeah. IVF. But yeah, 73 is the oldest. That's the real
but I'm on about,
record.
you know, in terms of giving birth. Was that like a cesarean or was that like natural birth?
Listen, you know, I've got a researcher. They're good, but they ain't great.
Okay.
Stop asking them kind of questions, man.
Honestly.
You're putting me under pressure.
Okay.
I'm in sales. I almost did the salesy thing. Yes, of course. Yeah. And then you go and do your research. Stop the lying. Never. She never had cesarean.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your opinion on it?
Do you know what? I think.
Do you want to come slightly closer to the mic?
I think you need a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I think you need to know that, you know, I think it's really difficult to bring a child into this world knowing that you don't have that much time yourself to spend with them and to raise them, and to have the energy to do all the things that, you know, you want to do with your children, to be able to play with them, you know, take them out, play football, do all those sort of sports.
Okay.
But at the same time, you know, there's huge health implications in terms of being a 70-year-old woman. Even for someone 45 plus, there's a lot of health implications.
I think so, yeah.
And I think I'd want to understand why would they want to put themselves through that?
I think, yeah.
I don't think it's fair on the child.
No.
And I mean, the child's 5 years old and mummy or daddy can't walk to school.
I mean, they might be able to walk
Not because
to
they're
school.
not working, because they can't. They're not able to walk up the road
to school.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, they can't go to sports day, and they say, "Daddy, can you run?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to race?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to enter the egg and spoon race?
I mean, look,
I can't.
Even to discipline the child, they can't catch him.
That's so true. That's so true.
And you're right. When they're 10 years old, use Al Pacino for argument's sake. When they're 10 years old, he's 93.
Wow.
He ain't going to be doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, that's the truth.
But how old's his partner?
Very young. You're talking about research, about apparently younger, because
younger.
they're not both 83, because that's almost humanly impossible. So, it's not almost. It is humanly impossible. You can't have an 83-year-old woman having a baby or babies.
You'll probably read about it somewhere.
yeah, scientific. So you don't think it's a good idea, no? No. Okay. Carlos?
No, not at all, mate. I just think that you've got to be able to do the basics when you have a child. You know, raise them, take them to school, just do the basics. And if you haven't got the energy to do that, or you're too old to do it, you know, at their ages, you could be great granddad, not daddy. Yeah, great granddad.
Great granddad.
Yeah.
Great granddad.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Well, we would definitely like to hear from you. Call us on 448-7956-533-907. You can text us, WhatsApp us, or just give us a call right here on the Mayhem Clubhouse Show. All right.
Yeah, I haven't even finished with that, you know, because I'm just thinking, you mentioned, Carlos, about, you know, child going to school and all of that, and we talked about the journey, but imagine what it would be like for them leaving school. Everybody sees that that's their mother, father, parent, whatever you want to identify with. It could also impact on their well-being from other children. Bullying comes into that. And so, I just think that people really need to stop being so selfish and really think about what the impact will be for that young person.
Okay, right. All right. So this is the Mayhem Clubhouse Show with the boys with the noise, Antony B and Mr. Carlos, alongside our special, lovely, absolutely fantastic guest, Charmaine, ex-author, R&B star, and also reggae star as well. She's here. How are you? You're right.
Hey, yes, I'm good.
You're good. You. Okay, we've got a live caller. Hello, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Yvonne, and I'm calling from London.
Hey, Yvonne.
Hi, Yvonne.
Hey,
hello. Hi, Charmaine. Hi.
Oh, yeah, what about us, man? What about us? What about Mr. Carlos and Antony B? What about us two?
Stop. If you didn't butt in, I would have addressed you both. But since you decided to butt in,
you tell them.
I will start them with Mr. Carlos.
That's all right.
Okay. You heard us discussing this topic. What's your opinion on it?
My opinion, the way the world is, I sound very old, don't I? But the way the world is at this moment in time, as long as you can build a relationship and with your child, age is nothing but a number. You've got young fathers who aren't there for their kids, who don't know how to manage their kids, and even a lot of these older people, you never know. Some of them could last maybe for another couple of years. And
couple of years.
but it's more so about what they can give to the child.
Sure.
And that's what's really key.
For Christmas, you can't give it back. So you need a bit more than a couple of years.
But then you just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You could be a younger person. Okay, I present this to you, Mr. Carlos.
Okay, I just thought I highlight that, Yvonne.
Go on, Yvonne. Let him have it.
I present this to you, mate.
Go on, mate.
So you can have someone who is younger, and for whatever reason, they may die early. They can, there's so many different variables.
That's a very good point.
So I would say, what is the most important thing that you want that child to experience and to have?
See, I see where you're coming from there. See, now, if somebody dies at a young age, that could be classed as unfortunate, that the Most High decided to take them so early. But when you've lived 75 years and you know that the reality of only 10% of the population make it to 100, you might not be in that 10%. So to bring a child in, knowing that there's a possibility that you might not make it, I think it's unfair. I think focus on being a great granddad and, maybe even a granddad and maybe an uncle, And in some cases, an auntie. But just focus on that and, leave it to the young ones.
Leave it to young ones to do what, though?
For the younger ones to have the children and then maybe be a granddad.
But then again, maybe, I want to present this to you as well, for them to even...
Go on, Yvonne.
For them to even go there at that age, I mean, they still have it. They're still able to make it work.
you know what it is, everyone. Viagra does a lot nowadays. The red and the blue pill. So I mean, look, come on.
Yeah, but it's not just the men. This, as we discussed, there's this woman who's 70 years old in Uganda, and she's had a couple of twins, really, or twins. And she's not using Viagra, so it's just different areas of different people, really.
80 and 75 in Uganda is different to 75 and 80 in the UK.
Yeah,
but
it's still,
they could be 70 and move like a 50-year-old or 45-year-old. Or over here, when you're 80, you're 80. You're bent. Very few people look good in the UK at 80. Or even to be
quite honest, I've got to say this. I'm with you, Carlos. I am. As soon as you hit kind of a certain age, and we mentioned this before you called Yvonne. If just like Al Pacino, he's 83. He's just fathered a child. In 10 years' time, he's going to be 93 when the kid's 10. And if he's going to an egg and spoon race. he ain't gonna keep the egg in that spoon. Not even before he starts. He won't even be going to the event.
Push him in his wheelchair.
Listen.
Push him in that wheelchair. But I mean, I hear both sides. I hear your side.
There's two sides.
There's two sides. But I still feel it's about quality now because. It's about quality of experiences and quality of life. And I know that sounds quite paradoxical because, they're at that latter end of the scale. But if they're able to give the child some sort of quality of life, because, what I'm realizing, age is nothing but a number. You've got some young'uns, you've got some people in their 20s, you've got some people in their 30s and 40s who just can't step up to the mark for their kids on different levels.
Sure. But listen, Yvonne, always a pleasure. Never a chore speaking to you.
That should be already.
Yeah. You got to go. Thank you. But thank you for your time, Yvonne from London. Listen, have a happy New Year as well for 2024, which it is now. So happy New Year.
Okay, thank you, and great show, guys.
No problem.
Thank you. Take
right,
care.
then.
Bye. Okay, so again, Mr. Carlos, final thoughts, and then we'll move on to our final topic, and then hopefully we'll get on with some interviews, like you, Charmaine. Okay. You'd be one of them. Okay.
What was that towards me?
I know. Carlos.
No, I just, going back to my original point, for me personally, the cutoff age is in your 50s. I would, if you want to give it an age, I think around 50s is a time, and even then, it's a push.
Yeah. And Miss X.
Wow. I just think, again, listening to Yvonne with the whole quality of life, I don't see what quality of life you're going to give that child, really.
I agree.
When you're not there. So I would say, yeah, definitely. I mean, even for me, probably, I guess the cutoff, I'm with Carlos on that.
Yeah, I'm with both of you.
Yeah.
I'm not even sitting on the fence. I'm just with both of you. Okay, we're going to move on to the final topic. Mr. Carlos, if you'd like to do the do's, I tried to get it on our iPads. Do you want to show everybody iPads?
Okay.
Tried to get it on our iPads, but just couldn't get it working. Sorry. So it's on the screen. Over to you, Mr. Carlos.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about Tiffany Haddish. She returned to an old joke while addressing her DUI arrest during a stand-up set on Friday. That morning, the Girls Trip actor was booked on suspicion of driving under the influence after being found asleep at the wheel of a vehicle stalled in the middle of Beverly Drive. But by evening, she was on stage at the Laugh Factory, Long Beach Club, and poking fun at herself with a joke she also used after a 2022 DUI arrest in Georgia. According to TMZ, Haddish was ready with a punchline when an audience member asked what happened last night. "You tell me," said the comic, who performed at the Laugh Factory's West Hollywood location the night before her arrest. "I prayed to God to send me a man with a job, a career, preferably in uniform. God answered my prayers." Haddish will go to court for her Georgia DUI in December.
She's been to court. She's just full of jokes, I tell you. Carlos, we discussed this on our previous show, and you were disgusted by the whole thing.
But I mean, to be honest with you, financially she can afford an Uber. There is no need for her to drink and drive. Get an Uber. You're performing, you're going to have a drink, get an Uber. Simple. Or hire a driver.
Charmaine?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know whether it's some kind of stunt, being
This
in
is
the public eye and
second
literally
time.
just putting herself out there. Maybe something else isn't working for her, so she needs to get her name out there even more.
Yeah.
That's it's unfortunate that that's the way that they celebrities seem to do it.
Do you think it's right she made a joke about it?
No, it's
I mean,
not.
she's a comedian, obviously, and that's what she does, and she tried to kind of play it off by what Mr. Carlos said. Do you think that's still wrong?
I do think it's wrong, and actually you're in the public eye, you've got an audience, you need to know your audience around you, and actually the audience varies in terms of age, and so what are we saying to young people out there, to teenagers, to the rest of adults, that's okay?
Sure,
because she's a celebrity, it's okay for her to do it.
Yeah.
It's just not okay, full stop, is it?
No, it's not. Carlos?
Well, I just think that the law goes to their head, or the career goes to their head. They're in a situation where they're preyed upon by many people, loads of fans, and they actually believe they're above the law. You get done once, you've gone to court, and yet you're out drinking and jumping in a vehicle again.
Yeah.
You don't care, And if you knock somebody over or someone lost their life while you were drunk, should you go to prison then, or should you get off because you're a famous comedian? I just think it's wrong.
Well, the law should be the same regardless. It should be the same for everybody. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I totally agree. I think what she did was unethical. She shouldn't be doing that just because she's a superstar. And don't get me wrong, I love Tiffany Haddish in her films. You remember Road Trip?
Yes.
With the girls. I mean, she's great actress and also great comedian, but it still doesn't excuse what she did. Not once, twice. And I think she's probably got a bit of a problem with drinking because, it's almost what my mum and dad used to say: if you can't hear, you must feel. So, and that was once. He did it once, and then that was it. But she tends to do it over and over again.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you. But what doesn't make sense? Even if you drive to the venue, and then you decide to have a drink, leave the car there. Pick it up the next day. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all.
It's almost a form of arrogance. You're like, it doesn't matter. I'll drive home. But you've had several drinks, so you already know you're over the limits. And now it's arrogance that's talking. Come on.
The thing is, she's not on her own, is she? So what about her friends, or what about the people around her, in terms of encouraging her not to do that and to do the right thing? I don't know.
And also, what she said, I'm reading it there, about I prayed to God to send me a man with a job and career, preferably in a uniform, and God answered my prayers. I mean, come on, seriously, are you serious? But that's her jokes. That's what she's like as a person. There's nothing we can say or do that would genuinely make her change. I don't think she's going to change. She's done it once, twice. She's going to court last month, December. I think that's already happened. And we see what the outcome is. Anyway, yep. Good. Hey, it's been good.
It has.
Very
Tiffany Haddish, if you're listening, take care of yourself, okay?
Don't worry, she won't be. So
I mean,
she might be. She might. Oh yeah,
never know.
Shall I hype
You're
it?
going to be in this Black Celeb magazine, so Tiffany Haddish might be listening.
Ah, man, you got jokes. That's why we get on, man. That's why we get on. You're good. You're good. You're good. Okay, no, thanks for that. I make things right. Sometimes I look at you and. No, that didn't work. I was going to say I want to hold you tight, but no,
It's the poet.
I get in trouble. Funny, man. Okay, no, thank you for that. That was fire.